everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me in the back? Yes. Okay. Hi, I'm Leslie Greenberg, and I'm Director of Community Relations here at Juniper Village in Chatham. We are an independent and assisted living community, and we have just been chosen the #1 assisted living and independent community throughout the state of New Jersey. We are very pleased today to have Yale Hauptman here, elder care attorney, to give us some hints on veterans benefits. And after Yale is finished, if anybody would like a tour of the community, I will be here. And then I'm sure that Yale will have a question and answer period, so I'm going to give it right on over to him.
Sorry? Leslie, thank you very much. I want to thank Leslie and Juniper Village for inviting me here today. And I have to tell you, the Juniper is a wonderful, wonderful facility for those of you that are considering assisted living. So now today, what we're going to talk about is Veterans Aid and Attendance, the hidden benefit. Veterans Administration Aid and Attendance. So, without further ado, let me just explain for those of you who are not sure what an elder law attorney is. Our clients are primarily seniors and their families, and what we do is, if I can sum it up very nicely, we help guide seniors and their families through the maze of laws and benefits that we call the long-term care system in this country, so that you never run out of money and you never run out of options. And so what we want to do is help you stretch out your assets, your savings, to make sure that you're not going to run out of money not knowing how much care you might need and how long you may live. So let's talk about the VA benefit. And what I'm going to do is Jack and Nell represent those who need to know about their VA benefits to help pay for long-term care costs for veterans and surviving spouses of veterans. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Jack and Nell. Jack had Parkinson's disease, but he and Nell didn't know about the VA benefit. And had he been able to qualify for the VA, had he applied for it, he would have qualified, and he would have received $1,949 a month in VA and aid and attendance benefits. And over the course of the 4 years that he did live after with the diagnosis of Parkinson, he and Nell could have received almost $100,000 over that time frame. Now, Nell did qualify because after Jack passed away, Nell did learn about those benefits, and she was able to qualify for roughly half of that amount, a little bit more than half, of what Jack could have qualified for under what's called a widow's or death pension due to her Alzheimer's disease and the medical expenses associated with it. I guess if I turn one way or not, or another, you lose me on the mic, so I'll try to hold this tight. Okay, so we're going to talk about aid and attendance and widow's pension. And by the way, I will have some questions and answers at the end, so I know I'm going to kind of run through this quickly. Now, the first thing, in order to qualify for this VA program, and there are a lot of VA programs out there, and so I often talk to folks and they say, well, I called the VA and they said we ran through what I could get, and I pretty much am able to get what I can get. And the answer is that's not true, because there are so many VA programs out there, which the VA does not publicize, and they don't publicize it very well anyway. And each program, there can be quite a bit of differences in the eligibility rules for each program. Now, the one we're going to talk about today is available to wartime veterans. And so we're going to talk about, since we have World War II and Korean War veterans, if you served in the military between December 1941 and December 1946, or for Korean War between June 1950 and January 1955. Can you see the, am I blocking you a little bit? No? Okay. And then for Vietnam War, I know we don't have any Vietnam War veterans here today, but from August 1964 to May 1975. Now there are a lot of eligibility requirements, but that's the first one. And so, to qualify for this pension, the wartime veteran must have served in the United States Armed Forces and served at least 90 days of actual duty, at least 1 day during wartime, and must have been honorably discharged. Now, I will tell you what this does not mean. It does not mean that the veteran had to have served in a foreign war theater. So, if my dad served in the military and he served stateside, but during those time frames, he would meet the requirement under this program for service during wartime. Now, a couple of other requirements for this program. The veteran must be over 65 years old or blind or disabled. And by the way, the veteran considers everybody over 65 to be disabled. We could have a whole separate discussion about that. But if you're 65 or older, the VA considers you to be disabled. You must have substantial recurring unreimbursed medical expenses. And this is going to be the one of the critical discussions we're going to have in a few minutes. You must have limited household income and assets to pay those medical expenses, and you must have an expectancy of living and paying future medical expenses. What this means in plain English is this program is perfect, is available to aging veterans and their surviving spouses who are experiencing the typical illnesses that we see in the aging process, such as Alzheimer's, dementia, physical disabilities, Parkinson's, those types of things. It does not have to be related to service in the military. In other words, the illness or injury does not have to have been related to wartime service. Okay, now the program is commonly referred to as the Aid and Attendance Program. But I have to tell you, if you call the VA and you ask them, can you tell me about the Aid and Attendance Program? They will probably tell you, we don't know what you're talking about. The correct term, or the VA term, is a non-service connected pension. That's one of the reasons why when you call the VA, they don't really do a good job of making you aware of these programs, because I've had clients who tell me, you know what, they told me that that they don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm sure that they are familiar with the common usage aid and attendance. But what does that mean? If you need regular aid and attendance, it means you need you have an inability to dress or undress on your own, to keep yourself presentable, to feed oneself, to attend to the wants of nature, and an incapacity that requires assistance. Those are all, if you need assistance with those, that is what is referred to as aid and attendance. Now, in order to meet the medical expense piece of this, we need a physician to provide a diagnosis that supports the need for the care and the scope of the care and the medical expenses that we're going to use, as you're going to see in a minute, to qualify for this program. So, let's talk about what we call the critical calculation, okay? And this determines how much of a pension you can receive. We take the gross household income of either the individual applicant, or in the case of the married couple, we take the combined income of both husband and wife, and we subtract those unreimbursed medical expenses, and we get what's called income for VA, for veteran administration purposes. or the acronym IVAP. If you'd like to hear and watch the rest of my presentation on VA aid and attendance, the hidden benefit, please click the link below.